Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at Submarine gameplay. Super excited to show this off. However, it's work in progress. We're definitely going to encounter some bugs, and I have no idea what I'm doing. This is the first game. I only had a chance to play 2 games total, but this is the literal first game on the server right after I downloaded it. This is a special server. It's called the TST server, and you are randomly selected. They'll email you with your login and your password. You log in. You sort of have to unlock the right to try the submarine by playing DDs, cruisers, and battleships. CCs are exempt from this, though. That's why I have the U-69 on my first game. This is a Tier 6 German submarine. You have the opportunity to unlock a Tier 6 American submarine with slightly different gameplay. I have not played with that. Again, 2 games. You need a little bit more gameplay than 2 to unlock that. But visually, we can still comment. I love the sun's rays projecting sort of water ripples on the side of the hull. We can see the island underneath. The texture work does look pretty good, but there does look to be some generic geometry, so maybe there'll be a little bit tweaking underwater. Overall, though, I like the presentation. It definitely reads as a submarine. So, good job wargaming with that. Having said that, though, this is not like the Halloween submarine. So they've moved all the information over to the bottom left corner of the screen with regard to your speed, but also your depth. And there is a maximum depth of 50 meters that you can reach, and you can decide to dive or surface as many times as you want. As long as you have enough oxygen to go underwater, that is the only limiting factor on whether you can dive. Now, the Halloween you could dive, you could go. And in the Halloween event, you had surface assignment position. You could go into the periscope, and then you could go underwater, and you could go underwater even more. This one is a little different. You can raise and lower all you want, but the only way you can actually enter into your damaging state is to enter into periscope depth, and you access that by pressing the G key. You can see the crosshair on the screen, the bottom of the screen. When I press G key, it automatically goes down to that depth, and it presents me with these firing solution. Now we're going to move into position and try and attack the enemy. The default concealment is 5 kilometers. You can improve it with Concealment Expert. Submarines are sort of a slow DD with regard to their possible play. They can spot targets that are 6 kilometers away at 5 kilometers. As long as they hide themselves, they perform basically the same scouting, reconnaissance that DDs can do. Right? But it is a much more limited focus, and because of the nature of submarines, they need to face towards their enemy. It's not going to allow you to move at full speed and also attack your target if they happen to be also at full speed. Oh, yeah. Check out that horn. That horn sounds awesome. But yeah, you are firing forward, and we're going to try and test this out. So we got multiple enemies in the area. We're going to go to our periscope by pressing G key. It just automatically goes to the desired depth, and it assigns the ability to send them out. And you have 4 total torpedoes, 2 per send. And whenever you send a target, as long as the torpedoes exist, you can freely ping every, I think, 7 to 5 seconds. 7.58 seconds. I don't know if you can change this. And an unsuccessful ping, obviously, you don't get them. But a successful ping provides 2 things. It provides a little ping indicator, and it has a countdown. You can only home while the countdown is still in existence. When the countdown reaches 0, they no longer home. And that's sort of to encourage a closer play to the enemy. And oh, this looks really devastating. Yeah, it's really devastating. The only way that you can citadel the target with your torpedoes is if you hit both of the pings on that same target. If I were to only hit one, for instance, I would only get very average low damage torpedoes, and at a 2-minute recharge, that is less than ideal. And we get the homing on the first one, and I'm trying to set up a homing on the second one. Unfortunately, I misclick. I didn't really understand what happened. The torpedoes themselves clipped the island, and I lost the ability to direct control them. So you have to be very careful of sending these things near and around islands. I have noticed that the ping, especially, is much wider in its projection than what is presented visually. If that projection happens to intersect with any island whatsoever, it will cease to ping. The ping will just stop abruptly. And it's really confusing for the player because he's like, what is going on? I sent the ping, I see it, it clearly passes safely across the island, and yet, oh, a pixel clipped it. I'm going to move forward so that you guys can see. This is a one ping situation. We sent it towards the Bayern. Oh yeah, and you have a limited range. It only goes to the maximum range of your torpedoes, which is 9 kilometers. If the enemy moves outside of those 9 kilometers, regardless of the home, it's going to stop. So one of the best ways to deal with the submarine is to move outside of its effective range, which I found to be very useful, obviously. So, we're moving around. You can see the buoys for B point underwater, which is nice, and you can see all this geometry. We're going to actually be presented with an enemy submarine that's going to be close, and I want you guys to see this because it's very interesting. And oh, we just ran into the island underwater. Very awkward, and I don't think it's going to catch up with the Bayern. Yeah, when it reaches its maximum range, it ceases to exist. That's one of the ways of counterplay for these ships that can't really do anything to it as it's underwater. And oh, here we go. Enemy submarine. So we're going to enter into our periscope depth. The aircraft is spotting us, but I don't really care because we're basically going toe-to-toe against this guy. I'm going to select my second one, and clearly it's right in front of me. I need to reload as fast as possible, and we're going to try and ping it out. Now, he's looking directly at us. We can hit the first one. Can we hit the second one? Well, not really, because we have incoming, so we need to go underwater, and we're going to dodge the hell out of these sub torpedoes. And looky there, it passes harmlessly over. We take out the submarine, and I was just really thrilled by that little engagement. It's not a ton of play between the two subs, but we did actually hit each other. Or he tried to hit each other. But if I were to try and ping again, and the target is presented bow, his front one will absorb the ping, and I will never be able to confirm the second ping for the increase of damage. Now, some targets, that doesn't really matter. Enemy submarines, enemy DDs. But against super big heavy cruisers or battleships, you need to land the double ping. Otherwise, you can't keep up with the damage requirement. So we're moving ahead to a second game. I'm in the water. I'm at periscope depth. Friendly DD has popped smoke, and we are benefiting from smoke. But in order to attack the targets in front of me, I need to see them. They can't be behind an island. If the ping clips the island, it stops it. You can't sort of ping through an island. That's not a possibility. And you're going to see a silly situation where I quite literally barely clip the island edge, I think with 1 pixel or 2, and it abruptly stops the ping. But what a submarine is attempting to do is to send torpedoes to a target that's within 9 kilometers of their ship. And right there, can you believe that the island clipped that? I felt like the ping was safely passed, but I really think Wargaming, you need to draw the ping as wide as it actually is, and there cannot be any misinterpretation. But with the second ping we were able to land, you'll note that the torpedoes themselves, they have a little blinking light indicator. That is telling you that it is homing towards the target, and the blinking light on the target is indicating, oh, yeah, that's the target it's being homed to. And while the countdown is still going, I am still homing. Whenever the countdown is removed from the ship, the homing ceases to occur, and the torpedoes just keep going dumbfire. Unfortunately, we weren't able to land our torpedoes on the target because he was killed off by friendlies. But I unfortunately didn't understand exactly how many pings I could do, but now I do. So, as long as the target stays within 9 kilometers, and as long as you are in your periscope depth and you have the oxygen resource to stay there, you can send a ping out and try and hit that target as many chances as you want. But if they are presented bow on, like that submarine in just a couple clips ago, you will be unable to land the double ping, and you won't land the critical damaging boost. That's really what you're trying to get. And you want to do that as long as you can. And the counterplay to that from the enemy, move outside of the 9-kilometer range, which is easier said than done, or hope that the player can't hit the ping, and maybe a little bit of maneuvering on your part to force the torpedoes to not be able to turn at a tight enough turn radius to keep up and hit you. And conveniently, we have an enemy DD that's incoming, and I'm going to try and land some torpedoes. And oh yeah, I think someone homed in on us or someone else, but we're able to land the first home on the Icarus, and we're going to pass. These torpedoes are going to pass harmlessly. I didn't really feel the need to assign the second one, and honestly, I didn't really know at the time. I was more afraid of the torpedoes. But supposedly, we have torpedoes going directly towards the Icarus, and we do land the torpedoes on the Icarus. And that ping seemed pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward. I don't know how much play the enemy DD would have. I need to play from the DD's point of view. I can't tell. But that felt pretty good. You know, if a DD was ever in that same situation going after me, well, I think we would handle ourselves quite nicely as long as we could hit that ping. That ping is really what you're playing for when you're playing these guys. And oh, wow, we've got a lot of issues. One of them is a submarine. And I'm going to try, and you're going to see the example of sort of the double ping denial. If you are hiding the second ping on your stern from the direction that the enemy is sending, well, guess what? It's just going to refresh the front one. So obviously the homing will last longer, but I will never get the huge alpha that I'm looking for. And I think this guy is going to be able to react, yes, in time. It's very hard to torpedo opponent submarines right now. You feel almost helpless. You're just like, well, there's a guy that I can't do anything to. I'm hoping it changes because it's kind of hilarious, and maybe we have some way of dealing with them underwater too. There really isn't any solution to that at this precise second, though, and it just feels very awkward with regard to dealing with submarines in a submarine. And the enemies are obviously in a position. There's a lot of bots on the enemy team. There's no skill here. I'm still trying to learn all this. I just want to, cover every base. There's a New Mexico that it looks like it's developing. I was surprised at the rate of oxygen refilling the tanks. It seems like you can be very aggressive on the water, enter in your aim state, go underwater for an extended period of time, come back up, do it all over again very quickly, and oh man, something is very close to me. The enemy submarine is very, very close to me. And we are about to enter into the bug zone. This is what absolutely killed my enthusiasm. I can't wait to try it again. But look at this. So we're going to ping. And oh, we clipped the island somehow, even though my binocular can't even see it, or very little see it. We'll send another one. Okay, well, it looked like it intersected directly on his bow. And yeah, there's the enemy submarine. It's great that he's so close. Great that he's so close. Okay, well, we'll do it again. Yeah, we're going to ping him again. And clearly we dumbfired. He's not going to hit. Oh, well, we can't miss this one. We can't. What? Okay, well, I'm going to try the stern, right? We dumbfired at him. We'll get it. We'll get it right. What? Yeah. When a ship was close to an island, they were basically immune to the ping mechanic. And it is really frustrating to run into a bug that debilitating. He basically should be dead, that weird bot, but I can't do anything to him. And now I have to wait for 2 minutes for more torpedoes to reload. I literally can't do anything here. I just get to watch as my ping and this enemy submarine. Oh yeah, and by the way, you see the detected. He doesn't really draw on your screen until he's at periscope or above the surface. But if you go underwater, he will immediately draw for you. And I can see where he's going. I can't send or attack him with any ordnance. I just see his location and I can call it out on my teammates, and they can try and work together to force him to the surface. Enemies attacking, of course. Love the effects. I love the effects. They look great. Just, this bug was huge. This bug is awful. It needs to be fixed like yesterday. I don't know why being close to an island would be an advantage to make you immune to pings, but it does, and it really sucks. Look how pathetic this is. Like, he should be dead. He should be so dead, and I should be able to do something else, but I can't because that bug was so bad. And we're going to try it all over again. So we're entering our periscope depth. You don't really have to send the torpedo directly at the target. I'm sending directly at the target for fear that I will not be able to ping him, and hopefully we can hit this. It's really annoying. Finally, he's far enough away. So it's just a difference of a couple meters. It is going to home into him, and I'm looking for the double whammy, and oh, wait. He's still too close. Now we're not going to get that 35, 40,000 damage Citadel. Look at how much damage our torpedoes do normally if we don't land the double ping. Torpedoes are still homing. They're not homing anymore, but it's too late. The target is basically stationary. And we do a grand total of 7,200 damage. Wow. I guess the best way to counter it is to just sail next to an island. And once again, that bow is immune to the ping. This has to be fixed. This is horrible. And yep, okay, we can still land the second one. But that front one, he's basically immune to the submarine's ability to do normal damage. This is okay damage, but against a battleship, this is horrible damage. It's going to take me years to kill him. A 2-minute reload. 2 minutes. And while all that's going on, my whole team's dead. So incredibly frustrating to have to go through a bug that extensive. I can kind of see when a ping intersects with an island. Even if it's not drawn on my screen, I know that Wargaming is drawing it. I think Wargaming, what you need to do is it needs to be 1-to-1 with its size. And wow, we clipped it that far away. The ping needs to be 1-to-1 with the size that it actually can influence the game. It can't be slightly bigger than what it's drawing as, because you'll have times where you're right next to an island and the ping intersects, but not on your screen, and you get infuriated by that, because that's exactly what I did. Radio location does seem to work underwater. You'll note that when you're underwater, you sort of have a ping system, and oh yeah, the submarine, he tried to predict, but he was a little close, but not quite. And we're running. We're going to enter into B cap. Now, unless you're on the surface, you cannot contribute any capture whatsoever. And the second I reach the surface, and it is not surface until you actually reach the surface. Going into your periscope, it doesn't do anything. You won't capture it. Now I am capturing it. So you have to be within 5 meters of the surface in order to cause the capture to occur. But this submarine is right on my tail. I can't get away from him. I'm always going to be spotted, and I can't possibly keep up with the damage. The submarine feels like sort of a sniper. You know, you can do really great things for your team, but when your team needs damage, that is the one thing that's very difficult to consistently do. You've got a high alpha, you can really devastate a target. But most of the time, you just can't keep up with the kind of ordnance that's coming in constantly. And it looks great. There might need to be a little bit more foam effects there, maybe some bubbles from the propellers on the torpedoes. It looks really cool, though, from underwater. I think Wargaming has nailed the underwater visuals. It looks great. I love, like, the particles floating in the water. I love, obviously, the bubbles from the propellers. It would be kind of cool if that contributed towards hunting the target. Like, the faster the ship underwater was moving, maybe the more amplified that the spotting was. I was also thinking about the consumable possibilities, because they don't have them. They will get them, but at this stage we don't. And we know that they're going to get some way of injecting oxygen. There's going to be a snorkel so they can stay underwater and still gain oxygen, which would be really cool. I was also thinking, what if they could put a binocular that would spot targets on the surface, but it wouldn't trigger situation awareness? So it would be free information gathering, obviously for a consumable charge, and it would be very helpful to your team, but it wouldn't be something that the enemy would necessarily gain information from. Because even if you're being spotted with radar or a surface ship, you are getting information that you can relay to your team it kind of would be nice if there was something that encouraged the submarine to be underwater, but still gathering information from above water. Really excited to see more of it, though. It does look like it could be something really cool, and hopefully we can help to improve it so it can. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily World of Warship videos, first impression how-to, news, review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.